So I get this question asked a lot. What is a firewall? So I thought I'd put together a little YouTube of what a firewall is and some PowerPoints. A firewall is a network security device that monitors and filters incoming and outgoing traffic. Easy and simple for everybody to understand. It is a hardware device that is on your network that monitors internet traffic, and you need to obviously have one. Um, it has several purposes. We'll get into that more little detail a little bit later, but we're also going to cover some more information on what is a firewall. And a firewall is a hardware or software. It is actually both hardware and software. We'll go into more details of which is hardware, which is software in the oncoming PowerPoint. But you need to keep in mind you actually need to have both. So a software firewall is going to be something on your computer, something like that, or on your Mac. That is going to be a software based device. And then a actual firewall is going to be something on your network. So a network device that is looking at your packets, inspecting your packets as they come in and as they go out. This is an example of what a firewall will be on your computer. So you'll be able to look at the changes and see what it's blocking, see what it's not blocking. This is mainly Windows Defender. It's one of the most common firewalls. Do you need to have one on? Yes. One of the scary things that you need to make sure is when you go in here to make sure everything's up to date. The reason why you want to make sure everything's up to date because that tells the system that all the information's up to date. That means all your security is up to date, and that means any breaches that have been detected have been updated so they're no longer a breach or a security issue. So that's one of the reasons you want to go ahead and keep everything up to date as much as possible. Here's a picture of a hardware firewall. These are by Cisco. One is very, very small. It's about the size of two cell phones put side by side and can handle most medium to size businesses. And it fits basically, it can fit under your laptop. You can put it pretty much anywhere you want to put it. The next is a rack mounted firewall. It's designed to actually handle more traffic and it's designed to drill into things a little bit more in depth. As you can see, there's more ports on it, which means that you can have more traffic filtering going in, more packets going in, more packets going out, and be able to use more ports on it so that it goes a whole lot faster on your network. It processes things a lot faster and it filters your traffic a lot better than just a firewall that doesn't have any ports. This is all of these are business grade. Your firewall for your business needs to be business grade, obviously. What's the point in having a firewall if it's not business grade? Your home firewalls are not good enough for your business. That's just reality and something everybody needs to accept. How cheap are the firewalls? That's one of the things you have to look at. So let's just say on rough estimates and cost, it's about $5 to $7 a day. So it's cost of a cup of coffee to be safe and secure. And in my opinion, your business is well worth spending that $5 to $7 a day. And on average, depending on your office size, it could be even cheaper than that. Who should use a firewall? Everyone. Doesn't matter. Everyone should use a firewall, both in your personal and your professional life. You need to use a firewall. They are built in, included in Macs, Windows, and Linux computers, and they are widely considered that you need to use one. Well, you do have those software firewalls built in, but you need one on your network. Why do I say that you need one on your network? Because it's very, very important that it adds security. One of the things that most people don't understand is yes, you might have a firewall on your computer. Well, that keeps the people out of your computer. What's going to keep people off your network? So once it leaves your computer, it's no longer protected through your computer's firewall. That's why you need a network firewall that actually protects people from getting into your network, monitoring that traffic, looking at that traffic. Because when you think about it, if you don't have a network firewall, people can monitor your phone calls. They can monitor your wireless devices. They can monitor your desktop. And as soon as that traffic goes outside of your computer, they can read it. So that is a humongous security concern for all businesses now. Is where, yeah, it might be safe in your computer, but as soon as you go to a website or something like that, you've opened up a port, which has opened up a vulnerability, which means people can see your traffic. If you were to have a network firewall, it would cut that down. So anybody that's on your network would not be able to monitor that traffic. It is your first line of defense. So think of it like that as a firefighter, a cop, something along the lines of that. It is your first line of defense. And it is usually your only line of defense in the beginning. Because if you don't have one installed, that means you have no lines of defense. So you need to have a network firewall installed on your personal network and on your business network. And a lot of us working from home nowadays, you need to have business grade security on your home network because you are doing work on your home network. Your internet service provider's network is not strong enough, and their firewall is not strong enough to handle the traffic that's coming in and out and being able to filter it as much as needs to be filtered because they consider it okay low security. Well, now that we're all working from home, it's a high security risk now. It can filter traffic. So what is traffic? You will hear a lot of us refer to traffic as data packets or packets or all of that. It's basically your internet. When you go to a website, that's traffic. So anytime you place a phone call, that's traffic. Anytime you go to Google, that's traffic. Anytime you open an email, that's traffic. That's what we refer to when we say packets or data packets or traffic. That is kind of the definition of it. One of the next things is it can actually, with a network firewall, it can actually alert the user that there has been an intrusion, or it can alert the user that they have a potential virus on their machine. When you go to install something on your Mac or on your PC and you get that little pop up from your thing saying, is this authorized? You need to authorize it. Basically, what that's saying is, okay, you know that that software is good, that it came from a vendor that you trust, and you're authorizing that to pass traffic through your firewall and to look at that to know, okay, that this is virus free. If it detects there's a virus, a lot of times it's going to alert you that it's detected a virus before it installs it. A lot of times that's why that pop up is there. Be sure when you're installing something before you just click OK on that pop up that you know that that's from a trusted person and a trusted vendor because you dadgum sure don't want to install a virus on your system. Rules can be set on the firewalls. So you can actually block websites, you can block certain materials, you can block almost anything and everything you want to think of. So you can block it by the source, so where it's going to. So let's just say you have a printer on your network. Well, that doesn't need all the traffic through your network. It only needs printer traffic. So you can actually set that up where your firewall only sends traffic to a certain device. That is the same exact way to destination. But also with the destinations, you need to think of is okay, if you want to block all your employees or people at your house from going to facebook.com, you can actually set that up as a block destination. And in those rules, you can have it set up where it pops up a page that says you're not allowed to go to that, or you can have it where it just sends you an email saying this user went to this destination, or you can even have it set up where it just blocks it and moves on about the day where they can't open the website. That's something you need to think about. You can also have it block content. Different contents like pornographic or something along the lines of that. You can have it block that or have it block political content. That's one of the nice things about having a network firewall is it can block certain types of content you may not want people viewing at work because it may be inappropriate or something along the lines of that. And you can actually drill down to what devices can go to what content. So, say you are a school district or something like that, and you need certain devices to be able to go to share pictures for the school on their Facebook page. Well, you can actually set that up for certain devices in the network that can go to certain websites. So you can break it down very granular to that. But one thing you have to realize is the more granular you get, the more in depth the packets are going to have to be sorted. So it will slow down your network. That is one of the biggest gripes is yes, a firewall will slow down your network, but would you rather be safe and secure and know that nobody has broken into your network, your traffic's not getting copied and saved and put out where it shouldn't be put out, and people aren't stealing your intellectual property? The source is where the data is coming from. So think of it as your phone, laptop, iPad, wherever your source is. Your destination obviously is the same thing. It could be a printer, it could be a website, it could be anywhere your computer is trying to connect to. Content, obviously, we don't went over that. Some websites You don't want people to go to certain websites to share photos. Maybe you've decided that that is not necessary to your network. You can have it set up where if it tries to send somebody with any attachment, say a PDF or a text file or something like that, that's an attachment, that it would automatically drop it and not allow that to come into your network. It can also be set up where only certain devices on your network are allowed to connect to your network. That's another security issue. And consider concern that you want to have is, say you do have guest Wi-Fi. Well, you can say, okay, only the devices owned by my company can connect to my Wi-Fi on this network, or only the devices on my guest Wi-Fi can connect to guest Wi-Fi, and they can only go to these sites, and vice versa. Does Windows Defender Firewall mean you're safe? No, without a doubt. 100%, you are not 100% safe. That is the world we live in. Just because you have Windows Defender does not mean you're 100% safe anymore. There are vulnerabilities in that. There are also vulnerabilities in a network firewall. That's just the world we live in, and you're not safe with just one. That's why we take a layered approach with security. By layered approach, I mean you need to have your network firewall, you need to have your hardware firewall, you need to have your software firewall, you need to have different security things in place, like second authentication or dual authentication, to help protect things. So it's a layered approach. There is not one device will keep you 100% safe anymore. It used to be that way. It's not. If somebody has the means and the time, anything can be hacked. So you're not safe just because of you having one or two devices. Keep that in mind. You will always have a vulnerability. There is always somebody willing to spend years trying to get into your network. That's why it's so important to keep updating regularly, because guess what? As you update regularly, you take care of those vulnerabilities and you patch those holes. Yeah, I know it's a pain in the butt. Yeah, I know most people don't want to do it, but that's what the updates do, and that's why they're so important. I do have a video that we normally watch with a link included, so go feel free to click on the link and go ahead and watch it on your own. I won't play it here because the sound doesn't come through correctly, so that's why I've included the link. All right, so you say, and I say, just because I want to make a sale, I want to get you to buy a firewall. No, that's not it at all. Because if you look at the statistics, small businesses are more at risk than ever. 72% of all small businesses say they've had a cyber attack in the past year. Does that mean they were successful? No, because a lot of small businesses are smart and have the layered system and have the security in place to stop that breach. Okay. On average, this is just on average, in 2019, $1.24 million were spent in a hack. So unless you have insurance, or unless you have $1.24 million to hand out to a hacker, or not to a hacker, it might just be lost revenue, because now people don't trust your company with their data, so they stop using you because they know, okay, my data is out there. They are the cause. I'm not going to use their company anymore. Think about that, because a lot of companies do that. And you can't really blame them, because they know you didn't spend the $1,000 that you could have spent to keep your information safe. 74% say that the response time has increased. Okay, so it's taking longer to determine if you've been hacked or not. Look at these statistics. You really need to think about it. Small businesses are hit 62% of all cyber attacks. So 62% of all cyber attacks are small businesses. If you think in the United States, most companies are small businesses. So look up the definition of what a small business is. See that you're a small business. Enterprises usually have the infrastructure. They usually have the funding and all of that. And most people think, oh, well, it's too expensive for me. It is not. It is not too expensive for you. You can be protected for probably under $1,000 a year with your security, depending on what infrastructure needs you need and what you need to protect. Of course, it does get more expensive the more users you have and the more internet traffic you run. But that's the kind of cost of business that you need to have a security audit done, so that you know you're safe and you know what your options are. The US alone has lost approximately $100 billion every year due to cybercrime. Keep that in mind. $100 billion a year. So it might not be you that gets attacked by the cybercrime, and but the insurance company has to pay money out to that. So guess what's going to happen to your business? Your insurance rates are still going to go up too, even though it wasn't you that get hacked, because it's costing them more money because each year it continues to grow. So we'll say next year it might be $150 billion. Well, that means your insurance rate's going to go up next year. Look at these statistics. It's kind of scary. 43% of all cyber attacks target small businesses in 2019. That's in 2019. That was before COVID. Now that COVID's hit and we're slowly getting out of COVID, doesn't matter which side of it, the line you're on with it, you got to think about that. It has gone up tremendously. 64% of all companies have experienced a web-based attack. What does that mean? That means their website's taken down, their email's taken down, something along the lines of that. That's one of those things that you have to look at. Okay, 59% of all companies have experienced a malicious code or botnet. What does that mean? Somebody's gone into their website or somebody's gone into their programming and changed some of their programming so that they can get into their system later on. Well, their firewalls have detected that, or their security managers have detected that and stopped that from happening. That's what you pay for. That's what you get. That's what you need to be safe and secure with. 51% of businesses have experienced a denial of service attack. What does a denial of service attack mean? That means where your server or your internet is getting so much traffic that it actually shuts it down and says something's going on. We're shutting down because we're overwhelmed. All right. Well, those attacks happen to organizations that are fewer than 500 employees. So keep that in mind. And that costs on average $7.68 million per incident. So you're losing $7.68 million in revenue every time this happens. And let's just say it happens a couple of times where it could have been prevented. Let's look at the statistic. 93% of all breaches could have been avoided by taking simple steps, such as regularly updating your software or leveraging modern cloud based solutions. That is amazing that you know that 93% of all the breaches could have been avoided. Let's talk about that again. 93%, people. 93%. So you could have avoided your hack by just updating your system and having the correct tools in place. That's sad. That's sad that 93% of them could have been stopped. Since COVID-19, the FBI has reported a 300% increase in cyber crimes. That's a 300% increase that we know about now, that we know have happened now. Let's think about the ones that have taken 90 days to 6 months to detect that haven't been reported yet. Keep that in mind. As of this summer, there has been 12,377 COVID scams that have been reported. That's just COVID scams. There's other scams out there that people are trying to get you on. If you have a firewall and all that, will that protect you from every scam? No. One of your weakest links is your users. All right. Have any questions? Feel free to reach out to me. I'm Wes with Blue Tech. You can go to my website to ask questions. You can send me an email. Thanks for attending. Thanks for showing up. And I look forward to hearing from you guys.